Today, March 18th, 1982, I am speaking to Mrs. Kathryn Hansen, capital Kathryn, Hansen, capital Hansen, of Withee, who with her husband Emil were in the merchandising business in our town for almost 50 years. She will tell you how they got into the store business and the changes that have taken place during these many years.
Okay. James Hansen was born in Denmark in 1864 and came to the United States when he was a young man. He and his future wife, Anna Nielsen, arrived on the same ship and located in Grayling, Michigan, where they were married in 1887. After he had worked in lumber camps for a while, they moved to Stevens Point, and he went to work for the Sioux Line Railway Company as fireman. James had many opportunities for advancement or a change, but he preferred to continue as fireman until his retirement. It was in the early 1900s that James, his wife Anna, and their family, one daughter and 6 sons, came to live on their farm 2 miles north of Withee. After the family was living here, James would come on Saturday night to spend a day with his family and leave again by train on Sunday for another week of firing on the Sioux Line. There were many Hansen families in the area, so James Hansen became known as Fireman Hansen. As they grew up, the family scattered somewhat. One son, Hans, had married and was farming across the road from the home farm when in 1952, at the age of 60 years, he lost his life while working in the woods near his home. A tree that was being cut down struck him, killing him instantly. Son Emil had gone to Racine, and after working there for some time, he came back to be employed at the Farmers Co-op store in Withee as clerk. He was later made manager, and it was at this time that I entered the picture. I, Kathryn Hansen, was born in Ishpeming, Michigan, and came to Wisconsin in 1915 with my parents and 3 brothers and 4 sisters. Our farm was located in the town of Holloway in Taylor County. In 1916, 1 year after we had come to the farm, our dad was killed in a mine accident in Michigan, where he had gone to work during the winter months. At the age of 15 years, I went to work at Green Brothers store in Curtis and clerked there for 3.5 years. I then went to Michigan and worked in a J.C. Penney store for about a year. When I came back from there, I was sort of a traveling seamstress for a while before coming to Withee to clerk at Charles Keel's store. By this time, the farmer's store has ceased to be a cooperative store, and Emil too was clerking for Mr. Keel. We both worked there until I left and went to work at the farmer's store, which was now owned by Emil H. Hansen and Jen Stixon. While Emil and I were in the process of exchanging places of employment, Fireman Hansen was thinking about starting a new store in Withee. Theo Sturgeon had discontinued her millinery store, and that lot was available, so Grandpa Hansen bought it and made plans for the erection of a building, which became the Hansen Mercantile Store, with James Hansen and his son Emil partners in the business. The Chris Madsen Construction Company of Withee were the contractors. Emil and I were married in June that year. I continued to work at the farmer's store and Emil at Keel's store until our building was completed and ready for fixtures and merchandise. Our wholesale company had a display room in Eau Claire, and we spent 2 days there ordering our opening stock. On November 6, 1926, we were ready for business and had our grand opening. There were again 4 general stores in Withee. That number had been down to 3 since the John Christensen store burned about 2 years earlier. This was not for long, however, as Walter Balfus closed out his store, and Charles Keel store was destroyed by fire, and a while later the farmer's store closed after operating for a few years as a combined general store and locker plant. Locker Emil as he was now known, had built a beautiful new locker plant in Owen. This left our Hansen Merc store alone with a dry goods department. Groceries were available at 4 other locations in Withee: Jallings, Cape's Meat Market, Blunk's Restaurant, and Coffee Jake's Delicatessen down on the highway. Coffee Jake's place changed hands many times in the years that followed. It is now a modern mini-market known as Hilton's Highway Grocery and is also the Withee bus stop. The other 3 businesses are no more. In 1937, Grandpa Hansen did not wish to continue in the store business, so the partnership was dissolved and Emil and I became sole owners. We then added living quarters to the building making it more convenient and possible to get by with very little hired help. Work days were long. At first we were open from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. 3 days per week, and open until 10 p.m. on the other 3 days. This was later cut down to 2 open nights and finally to Friday night only. During the summer months, on an open night, there would be a band concert in the bandstand on the corner across the street from the bank. Later there were free movies on Saturday night during the summer months. This would be in the park across from our store, and which is now made into an ice skating rink during the winter months. On free show nights, we would have a grand rush for ice cream cones during intermission while a new reel was being put on. There were many changes during our years of storekeeping. Cookies, crackers, lard, dried fruits, candy, and so forth all came in bulk to be weighed out to the customer. Sometimes the farmer, not having an egg crate, would bring in a pail full of oats from which we were to find the eggs that had been placed there to keep them from breaking on the way to town. Twice a year, a Mr. Beachy would come with his trunks full of ladies' coats and dresses to spend a day with us, showing and selling of them to the ladies who had come to see his assortment of the season's latest fashions. Later, with the return to home sewing, we became known for our fabrics department, being one of the first in the area to go into sewing needs to such an extent. In 1969, after 43 years in business, we sold our stock of merchandise and fixtures to Ben and Llewellyn Mueller, and the store became the Withee Mercantile. They continued as a general store until 1977, when they sold out to Dave and Laurie Smith, after first closing out their groceries department. The Smiths added ceramics to their dry goods line and continued for about 2 years. They then closed out their business, leaving the store vacant. In 1980, the building was bought by C.O. Albert, and it became a part of the Owen Withee Motors Incorporated building. I continue to live in the apartment addition, which has been my home since 1937. James Hansen lived on his farm north of Withee until his death on Pearl Harbor Day, December 7, 1941, at the age of 77 years. Emil suffered a stroke in 1974, so he did not have long to enjoy his retirement. He died on March 11, 1978, at the age of 79 years. The closing of the former Hansen Merck store brought to an end an era when nearly everything that one might need could be bought right at home.